Football is back, everyone. So as we usher in a new NFL season, let's unravel what to expect from this year. I'll be analyzing the expectations, making predictions, and giving you a recap of the narratives that we are following in the 2024-2025 NFL season. Let's start with the reigning champs, the three-peat. The Kansas City Chiefs are looking to make NFL history by being the first team to ever accomplish 3 straight Super Bowl titles. The Chiefs offseason saw them bring back a lot of speed into the offense. Kelsey is possession specialist and a guy that Mahomes can still count on in the red zone, short yardage, and on those money downs, got to have it plays. The Rashid Rice potentially looming suspension is troubling because the Chiefs would love to have their other possession receiver on the field with the space created by the speed added to the outside. I think the defense could be something special again, but that depends on gaining turnovers. They ranked 27th last year in total takeaways, but in that same vein, they were good on third downs and stopping the pass and getting to the quarterback, of course. Turnovers and wreaking havoc in the backfield, especially for opposing quarterbacks, will be pivotal to the Chiefs three-peat. I predict the Chiefs will have a better regular season record depending on health. The Chiefs are looking at least 12 to 13 wins this season, but I have them losing at some point in the playoffs, probably the AFC Championship game. Next, the elites. Let's go to the Baltimore Ravens. They have the reigning league MVP in Lamar Jackson, but they have lost players on defense and offense, and they lost their defensive coordinator to a head coaching position. But I still believe that defense should still be a top 5 unit. I mean, we're talking about the Ravens. So the offense adding Derrick Henry was what fans wanted to see like 3 seasons ago. Now we only hope that Derrick Henry can at least get enough out of the remaining years of his career. Another issue I have with the Ravens offense is the wide receivers. People criticize Lamar for their playoff losses, especially last season, with this being the best quote-unquote Ravens team they had under Lamar. However, I think that had much more to do with the defense rather than the entire roster. The O-line is quietly being rebuilt, and I don't think they have a true number 1 wide receiver yet. Yeah, Zay Flowers is good, but he's a 1B or 2 at best. Last season, Lamar was expected to make that rookie wide receiver, and Odell Beckham coming off another knee injury, and he missed a full year out rehabbing, and a Rashard Bateman who was underachieved as a first-round wide receiver, be the bulk of his playmakers on the outside. So that doesn't scream to me like talent, but hey, everyone has their own opinions, right? Lamar is a winner despite every other team in the AFC having better skill positions than him for the past couple of seasons. But if the Ravens are serious about committing to being an elite roster and team, they gotta keep adding playmakers for Lamar. I got the Baltimore Ravens winning the AFC North, and depending on matchup, taking it to the divisional round of the playoffs. And I'll check back in with y'all once we get there. Next, the Detroit Lions. NFC champion, runner-up, and like 1 quarter away from winning the game. They lost by 3 points. The defense has been up and down throughout their rebuild. Aiden Hutchinson has made a name for himself. I feel like he can push to be an all-pro this season. He made the Pro Bowl in 2023. Jahmyr Gibbs should be able to get Pro Bowl status again this season, and Penei Sewell, who also got paid, should be looking to make back-to-back All-Pros at right tackle. So I do feel that they have the talent and another great draft that they did in 2024 to be an elite team in the NFL. Now, will they get back into the NFC Championship game? Right now, I'm going to say no. I have them losing in the divisional round of the playoffs this season. The Green Bay Packers. The Packers have made splashes in the offseason, signing Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs, both former Alabama standout players. Jacobs should provide the Packers with a more than competent running game and put some explosiveness into the backfield. Losing Aaron Jones was kind of a blow because I thought they could have been a crazy 1-2 punch. Regardless, this Packers team is poised to prove they are an elite team in the NFC. Even though they are the youngest roster heading into the season, they have the experience that could make them a very dangerous team in 2024. Watch out for the Pack. And Love got that deal, you feel me? Next, the Houston Texans. Another team that has made some splashy moves during the offseason. H-Town is excited to see if the Texans are going to put the league on notice they are an elite team. CJ Stroud, Stephon Diggs, along with Joe Mixon, paired with Tank Dell, Damian Pierce, and Nico Collins, gives the offense plenty of firepower. The defense is led by 2 late bloomers, if you will, Defensive Rookie of the Year Will Anderson and cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. Anderson showed he was worth the Texans coming back to grab him in the 2023 draft, and Stingley Jr. is finally showing he was worth a high first-round pick at cornerback too. The only thing I want to see from the CJ Stroud and Houston Texans 2024 campaign is the AFC South division sewn up. Winning that division again, now that everyone is healthy, kind of stacked with other young quarterbacks, will go a long way in proving that the Houston Texans are elite. But they have to shake off that playoff loss in the first quarter or two of this season. So we'll be watching the Houston Texans for sure. Are they legit? Cincinnati Bengals. Are they an AFC elite team? Maybe, but can Joe Burrow stay healthy? Are Jamar Chase and T. Higgins going to get paid? Now, Jamar Chase is probably going to get a long-term contract. That's not really up for debate. But Higgins is probably on the outside looking in. The skill position players will keep revolving around Burrow and Chase. The defense is going to be okay, but not dominant. In my opinion, the Bengals can make the playoffs, but I think that's about it. First round is what I'm looking at for the Bengals, but we'll see. Next, the Miami Dolphins, 0-2 under the head coach Mike McDaniel's era in the playoffs, and is a very low-key, high-key, top-heavy roster. Now, the Dolphins on paper are almost too talented not to win some playoff games and a divisional title. Also under head coach McDaniels, the Dolphins have yet to win the AFC East and have a combined 7-12 record on the road, including postseason and regular season. Tyreek Hill was voted the best player in the NFL according to his peers. We have to see if the team that has a wide receiver as their best player can be led to a deep playoff run. Taking a step back, San Francisco 49ers. The Super Bowl runner-ups that outlasted the Lions and Packers. The 49ers honestly should not have even made it to the Super Bowl based off of their playoff performances, but it's all about how you finish, not how you start. Talent and scheme has been superior enough to overcome the moments of mistakes. With contract issues on top of one of the oldest rosters in the NFL and only getting older, I fear the 49ers might take a step back to be a 10-11 win team. That still should be good enough to win the NFC West. The Brandon Ayuk situation is getting a little bit more awkward at this point. So even if he does play out the fifth-year option for the 49ers in 2024, if he isn't franchise tagged, or even if he is, it will be the final season of Ayuk in a 49ers uniform without a new contract. Let's see how all this money issues, plus Brock Purdy's looming deal, and of course the accumulation of all of these late postseason runs are going to have an effect on the 49ers physically. The Buffalo Bills. More now than ever, the 24 Bills team is the Josh Allen show. Young playmakers in Keon Coleman, James Cook, and Dalton Kincaid are in charge of being the primary bulk of the offense. The defense, led by Ed Oliver and Gregory Rousseau, are going to have to lead the rebuild on that side of the ball. I don't see the Bills having enough talent to compete for much more than maybe a wild card team, and they can still make life very tough in that division. Let's see if Josh Allen is truly elite. The Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles roster is filled with Pro Bowl and All-Pro talent, for sure. The collapse of the 2023 Eagles will loom over the 2024 Eagles the entire season. Adding all this talent to an already talented team makes the Eagles a team that has to get things right into 2024. Kellen Moore wants to become a head coach. Nick Sirianni wants to keep his job as head coach. And Vic Fangio wants to prove that his defense can actually win a Super Bowl. So there's a lot of moving pieces going on in Philadelphia. The New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers is back and ready to last more than 4 plays. Hopefully. If he can, the Jets team is too loaded on offense and defense, which has mainly been built through savvy drafting actually. Although they did draft Zach Wilson, sorry Jets fans, and the offensive line is kind of shaky, relying on veteran players and another first-round tackle who may not even see the field this year. This Jets team does have the roster to compete for a Super Bowl if it all comes together with health and player development. Don't know what to make of this team. Young and hungry, the Carolina Panthers. Now, can the Panthers get a sprinkle of hope from Bryce Young? Like a little bit, especially after that rough rookie season. And trading one of their few good defensive players they had in Brian Burns was kind of a head scratcher. But I mean, course of a rebuild, you got to do what you got to do. Everything is riding on getting the most out of Young in 2024. And with the investment they made to get him, it is kind of a put up or shut up season for Young and the Panthers experiment. The new head coach in Dave Canales is coming from the Bucs as an offensive coordinator, so he is tasked with making the Panthers offense look way more competent and help the team win at least 4 games, which by the way is doubling their total from last season. See, progress. All right, next. So the Bo Nix Broncos. So the Denver Broncos have a front runner for the quarterback position, which is rookie quarterback Bo Nix. He could potentially start very early for them, and they might keep Patrick Surtain around for a long-term deal, possibly, if they don't use him as a bargaining chip to keep inching in their rebuild. But it seems like they want to get a deal done with him at least. Now, the Broncos have talent, but they're not a competing roster for the AFC West crown or a playoff spot. But in my mind, they're at least on the low end a 5-win team, and on the high end, they could tie their 2023 record with 8 wins. And let's just hope they don't also tie that 70-point game again, and we'll be all right, Denver. We'll be all right. The Minnesota Vikings. J.J. McCarthy is in, and Kirk Cousins is out in Minnesota. No matter how polished J.J. McCarthy is looking through training camp and the preseason, it's still his rookie season, and I believe he'll be a game manager, even though his offense is low-key loaded. The Vikings are in the midst of a youth movement, and McCarthy and edge rusher Dallas Turner are on the forefront of that. Justin Jefferson is the best player on the Vikings team. I believe that could propel them to have an effective and efficient offense with a solid defense. They are trying to copy that Houston Texans playbook from 2023 almost to a T now that I'm thinking about it, low key. Now, stop me if you heard this before. Draft a Big Ten quarterback and then get an edge rusher from the SEC, particularly Alabama. That's basically what the Texans did, and that's what the Vikings are doing. Even though they're in a tougher division, however, they have the NFC Conference runner-up in Detroit, and also a young Packers team staring them down, coming off a playoff run as well. I'll have to keep my eye out for the Vikings early in the season, fam. The Washington Commanders. I see the Commanders as a 7-win team with the ability to get into the wild card round of the playoffs. The schedule is not pretty for crashing the playoff party, having to face at least 6 playoff teams and 2 of them in their own division. First-year head coach Dan Quinn is familiar with the NFC East after spending the last 3 seasons as the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. Now that he is back in command of a team, let's see how far he can develop this roster. Will him and a rookie quarterback prove to be a prominent NFC East? And we can't talk about a youth movement without talking about the Chicago Bears. Talk about hungry. The Bears should be feasting at the opportunity to win some games in 2024. The Bears have Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze, and is still set with solid draft capital to keep building the roster out for the next 3 or 4 seasons. I'm not a true believer in their playoff chances, though. The NFC North is, like I said, is kind of crowded, but I will say that the Bears are going to be fun to watch, and with the defense having shown the ability to keep the Bears in games, they should have some nail biters coming up in 2024. Chicago can make things interesting up north. An early start to the season is big because they have a brutal schedule following their bye in week 7. Now check me out. After the bye week, they have a schedule consisting of back-to-back conference games. Then they have the NFC champion runner-ups. Then they have the NFC champions, ending the season with 3 more divisional games plus a visit to the Seahawks. Not to mention they end the season against the Packers. Not to mention they end the season versus their, again, divisional opponent, the Green Bay Packers. In total, they have the AFC South, the NFC West, plus their own division that sent 2 teams to the playoffs in 2023. 5 to 7 wins is being kind of nice to the 2024 Bears. If they don't have a good season, watch for Matt Eberflus to be replaced, and the first person that comes to my mind would be Lincoln Riley. I know he said he wouldn't, but if you believe the words of a college football coach, then I got a great deal on a new planet to sell you. Just remember where you heard it from, all right? And be sure to subscribe for weekly NFL recaps. You heard me. Weekly NFL recaps. Hey, and don't forget to smash that like button. And until next time, y'all,